Correlate Health, Miss Gina Malik, who's going to talk to us a little bit about a medical record retrieval platform that she and her team have developed and why that is extremely important, particularly in this very complex healthcare system that we are in today. So I hope everybody's getting their turkeys together. I hope you can find a turkey. I had some difficulty finding a turkey the last couple of weeks. Thank God for one of my nurses who actually gave me a nice Thanksgiving Day turkey. I took it to my in-laws' house in Kansas City. So I won't be chewing on that this week, but we'll save it for Christmas. So anyway, thank you all for reaching out. Facebook, we're on Facebook Live. We're at LinkedIn. We're on 2 Facebook channels, my personal channel, as well as Dr. Coop MD, as well as YouTube. So wherever you are, tune in and learn something this morning. Good morning, Gina. How are you doing?
Hey, good morning. I'm great. Thank you. How about yourself?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being here. And so now, Gina, you are the founder as well as CEO, co-founder, I guess, and CEO of Correlate Health. We'll talk about Correlate Health, but who is Gina Malik? Who are you? Where'd you come from? What's going on here?
Wow.
Tell us about yourself. CEO. I love that.
Yeah, CEO. I was born. It's in my blood.
How about that?
My grandmother, she was an entrepreneur, and she helped raise me. So I'm from California, actually. Was born in Richmond, raised in Oakland, California, and I live in Atlanta. So I've been here in Atlanta for about 15 years. I have a background in interoperability engineer. So what that means is that I build interfaces as well as EHRs for hospitals. I'm on the technical side of healthcare. And so I've been doing this for almost 2 decades now. And so me and my founders, co-partners, we decided to, start our own company, start our own digital health company. And we're here now.
Yeah. So tell everybody what an EHR is, because we want to, we're in healthcare now. We love these acronyms and people have no idea. And they shake their head, yes, and they have no idea what you're talking about. Right?
Yes, electronic health records.
Excellent.
So this is your digital health records where they're restored, like your repository. So if you belong to Piedmont Hospital here in Atlanta, Georgia, and all your data, your vital signs, your notes, your historic data is all on the EHR, aka electronic health records.
Got it. And let's just talk a little bit about electronic healthcare in the evolution of that. I've been in healthcare for 30 years now, over 30 years. And, it seems like we've been way behind, quite frankly, in the healthcare in America with getting to a point where, we can literally seamlessly access it. We still got a lot of problems, as you know. So to kind of tell us a little bit about how many, should there be an expectation now that everybody's medical records is in some electronic format?
Oh yeah, especially with the with laws in place that every healthcare organization should have an electronic representation of medical records. No matter where you are, if you go into a clinic, you go into your hospital, rehabilitation center, a therapist, there should be some type of form of electronic medical records. It helps with portability. And then also it gets away with with paper charts as well.
Got it. You mentioned we're gonna do a lot of defining here today because there's a lot of technical stuff with this. When you say portability, Gina, what do you mean by portability?
Portability meaning that you will be able to take your medical records, and if there's a referral, say for example, you go to a visit, and there's a referral, and with that referral, that your record will be able to be transportable to the next healthcare provider, so that they can be able to have that historic screenshot of your medical records as well as real time. So it provides portability. And so that's one of the cases of having electronic medical records, so that you can have that electronic portability between healthcare organizations, what they call HIE, health information and interchange. be able to keep that your records portable between communities and hospitals and providers.
Got it. So that idea of portability, meaning that you're not necessarily locked into a particular system, but we can move, even if you are, you can move those records around fairly seamlessly. Say, for example, you may have an electronic medical record in a doctor's office in Douglasville, Georgia, and he needs to send you to see a specialist. That specialist should be able to electronically interface with that record to some extent and get the vast majority of the stuff that they need so that they can make a decision about your healthcare. Is that right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Got it. Got it. Now, the other word you used earlier was interoperability. And so talk a little bit about, we talk about portability, moving around, interoperability. What does that mean?
Interoperability is a term where you have your medical records can be able to move interoperable, meaning that web services, we're in a day age of the internet, right? And I'm using web services and applications. Now, we have where you can download your medical records on an app and be able to manage it on an app, or you can be able to log into a dashboard with your healthcare provider and have an access on the web. So interoperability is the transport of your electronic medical records from your care provider and being able to interface it and through interface protocols through web services as well as applications.
Got it. And so, when I explain that to patients, it's like this. I explain it like this. I say, you know what? I can take my whatever, some of these banks, I don't even want to mention their name. They're so horrible. I had a horrible experience. I digress, but I'm not going to mention names. But I can take my ATM card from Synovus Bank, which is who I bank with mostly here in Atlanta, and I can go over to the Bank of Jonesboro and put that ATM card in, and guess what? All of my financial information in that other bank is over here in this ATM at this bank. Yeah, that's kind of a very simplistic way to look at how interoperability works. So you should be able to go to a hospital. You mentioned Piedmont Healthcare here in Atlanta, and say, for example, you're being seen by a primary care, whatever, or a specialist at Piedmont, and then you need to go see another doctor at Grady or Emory or whatever. There should be an exchange or an interchange there where you don't have to go and pick up a stack of records and printouts. They should be able to electronically tap into those records. So that's something that's been evolving a little bit. So tell us, because therein lies the magic and the secret sauce, I think, to some extent, for what you do on your platform. Before we that's interoperability. Let's just stay there for a minute. Now, tell us about Correlate Health and why you start. What is Correlate Health? Why did you start it? And what led to you putting this company together in this way?
Correlate Health, we are a digital health company. We have a vested interest in web services, applications, and interoperability utility tools to create interoperability. I started this company because I am an interoperability engineer in healthcare. There's a law that went into places, what they call the Cures Act. And the Cures Act, hey, Sharonda, okay, you got a Sharonda Davis, all right, got a message there. So the Cures
we'll answer that question. I'd like to put it up there so everybody knows where I'm going next. Yeah.
All right.
Sharonda always asks great questions, and I really appreciate you, Sharonda. Absolutely appreciate you.
Thank you, Sharonda.
Yes.
Yeah, so the Cures Act allow us to have a mandate for hospitals to be able to provide patients, you and I, consumers, to have immediate access to our medical records. And so creating this company, we started thinking about, well, we could create a digital health company that will create platforms where we have ancillary services that will provide patients and consumers to have immediate access to their medical records based on their need. So there's different type of ancillaries. You have your eye doctor, GYN, anybody that has medical devices, and being able to have, just imagine having a real-time alert on your at the tip of your on your phone, to be able to have access to your medical device and getting real-time notifications from the FDA that there is a recall or maintenance issue on your medical device. And then it gives you instructions on what you need to do from there. So we decided to build on our roadmap ancillary types of services that patients and consumers can be able to have immediate access to their medical records.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you didn't mention one of the huge ones out there is pharmaceuticals. Just imagine all the drugs that people are taking and all the stuff that happens with those drugs,
Yes, bad interactions. Sometimes you can take drugs and it can have a bad interaction, with multiple drugs. Yeah.
Got it. So let's get into Sharonda's question. Thank you so much, Sharonda. Are blockchains used to create interoperability? We're getting ready to go deep here.
Yeah.
Gina is the blockchain queen, master, expert. I have my buddy Alonzo Sexton on, his orthopedic surgeon, who's kind of in the same area, trying to explain it to us how we do this, but kind of give us a little understanding of how you use blockchain to create this interoperability that you're talking about.
Yeah, so blockchain is it has so many benefits, to medical records. One is security, one is portability of your medical records, being able to have permissions based on your medical records. Also helps with, errors, and also, hacking. A lot of cases where there has been hacks on electronic medical records. Well, the blockchain, being immutable, will be able to, help protect and have those, layers of security. One of the things that we have interest in our services is creating NFTs, utilizing your health data and as an NFT to be able to have, so that you can use monetization of your health data, because our health data is very valuable. I was reading articles that our data is worth about $20,000 a year, our health data, that we could be able to monetize and have that access to our medical records to be able to generate income on our medical records. And so this is one of the things that we're doing on our platform, is being able to take your medical records or episodes or encounters of your medical records and creating it as an NFT. And with an NFT, you can be able to monetize it, with different stakeholders. Say, for example, clinical studies, pharmaceutical companies, insurance companies, any type of stakeholders that have interest in your data. You could be able to take that NFT and sell it as an NFT and then have that traceability. So, for example, if your data is being resold, then you can be able to collect a royalty based on that resale. So those are the type of things that we have on our roadmap with our platform, and utilizing blockchain and what we call digital health meets NFT.
Got it. Okay, so what is an NFT? Okay.
NFT is a non-fungible token. So it's so you see here about NFTs, the sale of art, sale of music, that is very popular in this space.
Are those now Bitcoins? Are those Bitcoins?
No, it's not Bitcoins. Okay. Some NFTs are based off of Ethereum. The network built off of the Ethereum network. Now there's different flavors, the type of NFTs. You have Binance, Smart Chain. You have different derivatives of NFT, but it's like Bitcoin. So it's like the exchange. It's like a token. So you'll be able to say, for example, in the world of art, what they're using that for NFTs. So you have an artist that have a electronic drawing or a picture, and they can be able to sell it in the marketplace. They'll sell it for $200 in the marketplace. And then if someone resells that artwork, the electronic artwork, and they sell it for $800, well, the original creator will receive a royalty. It could be 5%, 10%, 20% every single time that artwork is sold, and you'll be able to trace it and know who is the current owner, based on the smart contract and the address of where that ownership reside. So the same thing, you can correlate in digital health. Same thing as your health data, being able to monetize it and use it for studies and different cases, to be able to and have that traceability of how your healthcare, your medical records being used. And also you can create in your smart contract permissions and give expiration as well of how long that access to your medical record will be utilized as well. So all of that can be written and created in the smart contract as well.
Got it. So just to understand, and the value that we are discussing here, and let me just give a few shout outs. Let me just pause here. Mark Dye, I see you, my brother. How you doing? Tell the family I said hello. Love you. Thank you for showing up. And my homeboy, always on point, Eric Boyd, man. Hey, man, I know you all in Kansas City this weekend. I saw him up there last night. I flew out this morning, but I know you're a Cowboys fan, so I'm not gonna go there with you this morning. But thank you so much, my brother, for being here. Sharonda, thank you for the question, a beautiful question. Michelle Parrish over there on YouTube. Lady M. Phillips, we're gonna get to that. Can you sell your medical records? Probably not a good idea. We're selling information that is going to be, so it's a little more complex. It's a little bit more, I should say, salient and discreet than that. Okay, yeah. But it's not like we just go out there and sell your medical record and get $20. It doesn't quite work that way. However, there's some things that we'll get to that. Hey, Michael, I see you out there. Tabitha, homegirl, thank you so much. And Talisha Shine, hey, thank you for coming back. We appreciate you. And Ikra, my VA, checking in all the way from Islamabad, Pakistan. Thank you, Ikra, for being here. I really appreciate that. So what we're talking about, we're with CEO of Correlate Health, Gina Malik, and she and I got a big announcement. We're going to talk about that towards the end with my company. But we're talking about Correlate Health is a medical record retrieval platform. So we bring your records into Correlate, and just full transparency, I am the CMO, Chief Medical Officer for Correlate Health. Yes. Just so you all know that, full disclosure, whatever, so that for all the folks out there that want to try to sue somebody or whatever, I don't care. Sue me. I ain't got nothing anyway, but love for you.
Right. We got the D9 up in here.
There you go.
Yeah, and happy Founders Day too.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you, Doc. I appreciate that. But so we're bringing in, we can go out to wherever your medical record lives, whatever health system it is, whatever. And that some of the large companies out there right now, I think about 80 or 90% of the market, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Gina, is a company called Epic and another company called Cerner, which is right across the street from the hospital that I work at, North Kansas City. In Kansas City, their headquarters, one of their headquarters is there. They have systems, the Epic, you have the MyChart, and then you have over here, Cerner has a system they call PowerChart. And those two things now, quite frankly, are really, the interaction there is really almost seamless. And I'll tell you, the other thing I've been seeing is imaging and imaging studies. And, those things are just downloaded from the cloud, the web services. Amazon is really killing this thing right now. But so what we're talking about is taking your medical record, bringing it into one consolidated location, which only really belongs to you. We're not putting in a database because you don't want a database. A database can be tapped into, but you're using blockchain as the foundation, which is a distributed network, meaning you can hack into one piece of blockchain, but you didn't get the whole database. You just got maybe one little fraction. Now, of course, the hackers are going to figure things out. I mean, that's what they do. That's their life's journey. And we have to continually stay on top of that. But we're talking about you having all of your records in one place for a number of particular potential uses. One is creating or turning that into a value proposition by turning it into a non-fungible token, which is an NFT, a la all the Ethereum, Bitcoin, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So now that you have control of that, you now, as an individual patient, will have control to say where your data goes and doesn't go. And if it does go there, potentially, and what I think what companies like Correlate Health and others see coming down the pipe is that you're going to be able to take that and say, well, wait a second, if you're going to use my data, to Lady Phillips' point, if you're going to use my data, okay, for whatever reason, then A, I have to give you permission to do that, and B, if there's a monetary value assigned to it for research purposes, pharmaceutical, demographics, market research, there's all kinds of research. Not necessarily they're researching on you or doing something to you. They're just taking the data that they have to try to create something. I mean, just a thing for it. Let me give you an example. And Dr. Sexton gave this example to explain this point to me in our previous podcast, which is, so I have always had a problem with my shoulders. I had a problem with my shoulder, left shoulder, had surgery on it last year. Well, yeah, of course, orthopedic surgeons are interested in the shoulder, but guess who else is interested? One of the biggest complaints that people with shoulder problems have is they can't sleep. Why? Because it hurts. So guess who has a vested interest in creating something to help people with shoulder pain? Pillow companies. The people make pillows and sheets and all kinds of things like that. So it gets down to those kinds of things where that big data really has an opportunity. You have an opportunity to participate in something, quite frankly, using this kind of platform that could not only be of monetary value to you, it also adds a layer of security to some extent. Okay. Yeah. Again, a distributed network versus all of your data just sitting over there in that health system in a big, huge database, waiting for some hacker just to come in through the back door or the side door, however they get in, take it and do what they want to do, and then hold the company hostage. And things like that happen all the time. Not only that, okay, so we talk about the monetary value. We talk about, you being able to the increased security, but there's also a safety issue here that is being that you brought up, which is the issue of making sure that your data is your data. You're on the right medication. You mentioned it earlier. There's a recall on a device that you got implanted inside of you, and you just happen not to watch the news that night.
Right.
Guess what? Because you have Correlate Health, and you know that you're a part, that device is in you, being that, hey, you may need to call somebody about this, call the FDA or the number they gave you, or send your data in because your information, because you may be affected by that. So there's a safety issue also here. I think that this is really, really going to, in my opinion, this is an added value to the healthcare system ecosystem, not just in this country, but around the world. Also, I think another thing, though, Dr. Malak, that I haven't mentioned, or you haven't mentioned either yet, millions and millions of people, of course, we in the, hopefully on the backside of this pandemic now, but travel all over the world, all over, want to go places, and they get sick. Nobody knows what's wrong with them. They pass out somewhere. Well, guess what? If you got a Correlate Health, you got your access. We can get access to that. The doctors can see that in Germany, Russia, wherever you may be, translate it and say, oh, that's what's going on. And they can maybe create a much more efficient process to get you through whatever it is that it's happening while you're abroad. So that's something to think about. Then if you think about the reverse of that, okay, if you're international and you want to have someone in the US look at your record. So anyway, that's my little diatribe from a physician's perspective, but just trying to make sure that my audience understands, this is very, very, it's very, very complicated, complex stuff. But at the end of the day, it boils down to some very simple value added benefits to you as a consumer and as a patient.
Absolutely. One thing our platform will offer as well is that you mentioned Epic and Cerner, and actually I'm Epic certified and worked on a number of Cerner and Allscript interfaces and systems that, say, for example, like I belong to Piedmont Hospital here in Georgia, but I have data at Grady. I have data at Kaiser Hospital in California. I have data at CVS because I did my COVID test at CVS. I had my vaccination at Walmart. So you have all these silo organizations or where your data is being housed. Well, on our platform, we'll be able to pull data from various data points and pull it all into one dashboard. So now you have your historic data from various institutions and data points, and also your real-time data all under one dashboard, under one app. So that is what we're offering as well. So now you have all your aggregated data in one place instead of going to one place, to one place, to another place, to another place, to be able to grab all your data, or having multiple apps to be able to access your data. Right now, I have like 4 different apps to access my data. CVS, My Chart, and My Chart Piedmont, My Chart Kaiser. Those are like 4 different apps.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
one app.
I had this experience because I formerly had my chart at Wellstar, and then now my chart is at Piedmont, and the 2 icons look the same. I'm like trying to sign in. I'm like, but now they've improved a little bit because now it recognizes who I am and it says, where are you trying to go? Are you trying to go to Wellstar? Are you trying to go to Piedmont? And then it goes, so they've done a little, but you're absolutely right. But I still got CVS. And then not only that, I got my insurance app now. Remember that too.
Yeah.
And that's over here. And it's not, really necessarily speaking to that. This is a good question from Dr. Matthew. How do you add new data to the record if it's non-fungible? Do you create a new NFT? This is a very good question because as we know, healthcare is an ongoing thing. It's ongoing. Today, well, tomorrow. Yeah.
You can create NFTs for new data. You can create NFTs for an episode. Say, for example, if you just went for a visit and that visit was, for example, COVID. I had my COVID test, right? And my vaccination. And I want to participate in this clinical study that's just only want my COVID results. Well, I can pull my results and just wrap that into an NFT. So now they don't have all my whole complete record of my health data. They just want a portion of that health data. So you could be able to select what episode or encounter, that you want to create as an NFT and just create that as a solo NFT. So if you have new data coming in and whatever you want to specify within that NFT, we call you can create whatever data you want and create that as NFT as a solo encounter.
Got it. So yeah, that's a very good. Thank you, Doc, for asking that question. We appreciate that. And so that's the beauty, I think, of the whole blockchain stratosphere, in my opinion, is because you're not tied to having, how to say this. I mean, you're not tied to having, what example do I want to use? Oh, you don't have to buy the whole book. You can buy page 36. You know what I mean? I just want page 36. I mean, here's the whole patient's whole medical record in this big history book. No, I just want page 36 is what I need. I need to know what happened in that surgery suite that, that heart surgery that somebody had. And now they're over here talking to me and now they need another procedure. So I can go ahead and pull out page 36 is what you're saying. But that does create another NFT perhaps in this blockchain ecosphere that we're using to create or establish this interoperability and portability of the record. Is that the way to put it?
Yeah, okay. That's a good way to explain it.
Got it. Okay, good. Okay, good. So now, so we've established that this idea of bringing all your medical records into one location, and I use that location very, very loosely because it's not necessarily in a location. It's not necessarily like that, but I guess it pulls it into, I guess the way my buddy Lonzo explained it was the idea of who can control. You now are in control, I guess is a better way to say it. You're the controller of where your data goes and how it gets distributed and how it's actually used. And that creates some level of value to you, not just from being a patient and being a consumer of healthcare services, but also potentially even a monetization aspect of
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Talk a little bit about that in terms of, how could you, because, this is something that I kind of went into with Dr. Sexton. What does that look like for a patient? You mentioned earlier clinical trials and studies and things like that. How does that fit into the equation?
Yeah, we are actually working with clinical studies, and we got to be really careful about this because
Yes.
there is we don't want patients to be able to create or participate in clinical studies, and they're just going for the monetization, and it may not bring the exact result of what is needed.
Right.
So we got to be very careful with the IPR. However, we are creating a platform where patients can participate in clinical studies. And that clinical study organization, they have a monetization reward incentive for that patient to participate. They can pay that patient in a form of an NFT. We have a couple of things that we can be able to use as far as tokenization, either using the Correlate token, which we plan on doing, having a Correlate token as well. Or they can have the option to what we call cross-chain, using Ethereum or Binance Smart Chain to receive that token, or just maybe they just want cash. Maybe they don't have anything to do with the blockchain or cryptocurrency, and they say, you know what, just pay me in the form of paying my Venmo or my PayPal. So we'll set up transactions where they can be able to receive fiat transactions for their participation as well. So that's just one thing. There's a number of other institutions that may want to have access to that data. Like you mentioned, My Pillow, or the pillow company.
Oh, I did not mention My Pillow. God,
My Pillow.
If a pillow making company would be interested, not My Pillow. God.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna scratch that.
That's my political statement for the day, Doc.
I don't know what I was thinking about that.
I mean, you guys, it's anyway. A good slogan, My Pillow. Anyway, we have fun on here with Dr. Cooper too.
Oh, that was a blooper. Hey, you guys, that was a blooper. Excuse me. All right. I need a clinical study from my mind. Okay. Yeah. So, you have companies and may have interest in your data so that they can be able to market or do studies as well. But really, right now, we're focusing on clinical studies because there's a huge need for that. There's so many diseases and illnesses that need studies to be able to create better medicine, better procedures, and it's all about saving lives. And that's why we have a very interest in clinical studies to bring that awareness of clinical studies and what is available, because a lot of people don't know that's available. And again, this is an opt-in, so we're not really pushing clinical studies. What we want to do is be able to provide, a dashboard where you have access to your health data and be able to utilize it and for your own purpose and having interoperable. However, we have clinical study participation available on our platform.
Right. Yeah. And so, and to your point, you were talking earlier, we do have to be careful about that. It's a study. You have to create an environment when you're doing clinical trials and clinical studies that are not enticements. Okay. And so that's what Dr. Malik was talking about. All right. Yeah. You can't, in other words, we can't, as researchers, if I happen to be the conductor of the service, I'm gonna give you $500 if you let me inject you with this microchip. I shouldn't have even used that, but you can't, that is unethical, and it's not the way and the proper way to get someone to enroll in a study. Okay. Yeah. And so you have institutional review boards, large ones that are kind of institutional or large, and then there's some that are based within organizations that really look at those kinds of things. Okay, so you can't, the researchers themselves cannot, use that as a means to get you to enroll in a study. However, the companies who are going out here and looking for people to enroll, they can, in a very broad, general sense, kind of make that announcement, and then you can get the information, but we can, as Correlate Health, give them, oh, Dr. Cooper's data, he's got this, he's got that. You may want to go. No, we can't do that. That's not compliant. We would never want to do that, quite frankly, but we want to be able to, and one of the things that my good friend, Dr. Jane Middlebrooks, talks a lot about is having, is increasing participation, particularly among minorities in clinical trials, because we have a lot of products, medical devices, pharmaceuticals, and things like that go to market. And then the numbers for African-American participation is actually fairly low. Now, interestingly, the thing that's top of mind here of late, the whole COVID vaccine, we actually had, a really good response from minority populations and participation in the vaccine trials, which is very, very important, as you know, since obviously, minority populations tend to be disproportionately affected in a negative way by COVID and other things like that. So this is really exciting. This is really exciting stuff. So now, how does one interact with what do we do? I mean, you got all these people watching and listening and they're excited about their medical record data. They want to go out there and get it and take control of it. How do they do that?
That's a good question. So if you go to correlatehealth.com, CORRELATE health, HEALTH.com. You'll find information about us as well. And then also you can subscribe to our newsletter. We are currently going to be launching on the first quarter, which is our data retrieval platform for providers, particularly telehealth providers. And this is where our partnership come in at. Look at that, Dr. Cooper is smiling. So we're going to be providing a service for telehealth providers. And what that service is that you'll be able, telehealth providers will be able to pull that patient's medical record in real time, utilizing our platform as a SaaS software as a solution, and have access and be able to read that patient's historic as well as their real-time data right while they're doing their visit. So we're very excited about that. We currently have, I think, about 6 providers in our pilot program right now. And we're due to launch on the first of the year with that. And then the patient-facing application, where we're talking about the NFTs, we're looking at second quarter of next year that we'll be launching that service as well.
Yeah. Fantastic. So go to Correlate Health for right now. Go to correlatehealth.com and subscribe to the newsletter. Put your information in, your email address, cell phone, so that they can contact you and keep you up to date. And yes, we do have a partnership. So yours truly, Dr. Cooper, is launching hopefully first quarter of next year, what we're calling PRIMO Health Partners. And you all will be doing I'll be doing a solo on that one, perhaps late December, early January. But what PRIMO Health Partners is an online telehealth platform. And it's specifically focusing and targeting specialty services. Now, all of you all know that I'm a heart surgeon. That's what I do. I get no less than probably 2 to 3 inquiries a week from somebody who has got some question regarding their heart. And in a lot of cases, it's, hey, I know so-and-so is getting ready to go in for surgery. You want a second opinion. You want to hear from someone who is, has no stake in the game except your best interest. And so that's what PRIMO is going to be. PRIMO is going to be that online PRIMO Health Partners online telemedicine platform for the rest of us. Okay. And I say the rest of us because you can get the service. I mean, you can go out there to any of the academic centers and do that. And but we're going to do PRIMO in Dr. Cooper style, which is just like this. Okay. Which is making sure that the message gets out there, making sure that it's accessible, and that people are not giving you an academic response with 15 papers and all of that. No, we're going to tell you what we think as professionals, our opinion. Yes, we have malpractice. Okay. Yes, we are held accountable for our opinions by, state licensing boards and everything else, but we're going to help you navigate that. And so the way that the interaction and the partnership works is that when you go to PRIMO Health Partners and you want to come in and you want to be seen and you want to have that other opinion, then we would go to Correlate and help you either through Correlate bring in your medical records into our system so that you can actually talk to Dr. Cooper and have a conversation that is meaningful. And what I mean by that is that a meaningful conversation as a physician, I need to see data, okay? Or I need to talk to another healthcare professional, because the fact of the matter is, I don't know how many PhDs you got, you're not qualified to interpret, and you shouldn't be. I mean, that's what we're here for. And that's why I say we're going to do this a little bit differently. So really excited about that partnership with Correlate, because now rather than you having to, I say you, I'm talking about all of you that are out there listening, you all having to go to, wherever, this place and that place, and get all this stuff and then send it to my office here in Atlanta. And then my assistant has to go and then upload it old school kind of, no. We go straight into Correlate. We bring it all in. So it serves two purposes. Okay. All the things that we just talked about, the value that's created with Correlate. But in addition to that, it's here now and I can see it. And I can now look at your data and give you a qualified medical opinion about what it is you're about to go through. And why is that important? I'm gonna give you a couple of stories. I've seen some things here. I've been in medicine for a long time. I've seen a lot of good medicine. Okay. I've seen some bad medicine. Okay. And I'm not shy about saying that. Okay. So all my doctor friends out there, look, I don't hide behind the shield. Okay. I tell it like it is. That's just how Coop does it. Okay. But one of the things that I think that the data is starting to show is that, in this very complex, complicated healthcare system that we have, is that the more information you have, the better decisions are made. In fact, there's a lot of data out there suggesting getting a second opinion regarding procedures in particular reduces the number of unnecessary surgeries, for example. Okay. Testing. Okay. Treatments that are over treatments or under treatments in a lot of cases. Okay. So that is the premise of PRIMO Health Partners and our platform. And when I say ours, all you doctors out there that are specialists, and we're really, we're not trying to trot on the primary care docs. They do a great job, but with bringing telemedicine forward. But one of the things that we're going to do is we're focusing on is access. In fact, my schedule doesn't start at 8 a.m. because quite frankly, most 8 a.m.s I'm operating. All right. But you'll get an appointment with Dr. Cooper at 11 o'clock on Saturday morning, 11 o'clock on Sunday morning, if that's what you want. Okay. So we're really focusing on access on patients' terms and, trying to remove, because I think what a lot of telemedicine providers have done is, they're trying to, and what I call the square peg in a round hole. You've heard the rhetoric before, but you're trying to basically move your office from the office that's already highly inefficient to now just a video platform that it's the same stuff, just a new can is the way I describe it. All right. I'll say the same stuff. I won't say what I really want to say, but it's just a new can. But so our idea in having Correlate, again, breaking down the barrier of me being able to see as a doctor and a specialist, your data, and you getting that data to me, 15 phone calls, text messages, emails, whatever else. It may take fax, which is right now still unbelievably is still the kind of only really truly secure way that you can, submit. I mean, that's really not true anymore. But, for a long time, that was the only way we had ways, fax somebody's history and physical examination or lab work over to the other doctor's office. What if it went to the wrong fax number, or somebody just walked by and snatched it? Anyway, you don't get me on the soapbox. But so our partnership, Gina, is I think is combining this idea of medical record aggregation, and bringing that now into a telemedicine platform where somebody like me can look at it in a seamless fashion, secured, and that creates some benefit to the people that we serve, which is at the end of the day, the patients.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it, and with that, we'll be integrating PRIMO in our platform. So now any provider that's part of our platform will want to be able to utilize telehealth services for their patients. They'll be using the PRIMO platform directly from our platform.
Right.
So it's all in one. So
Right.
I'm very excited about this partnership.
Yeah. Somebody put in here, there was another question I wanted to get up here. So this is probably a little more technical question from Galen. How will the patient data be steered to Correlate Health? So there's a permission and consenting process you have to give. So tell us how that physically or how that works logistically.
Okay, so we are actually interfacing EHRs. So we have access to over 10,000 hospitals. And with that interface, that gives us access to over 300 million patients. So we're using APIs, application interface protocols. So we'll be interfacing with Epic, Certa, Allscripts, CVS, a number of pharmaceutical companies, clinics, various endpoints to be able to pull that interface in. So we are actually finalizing a handful of contracts that we are engaging with EHRs to be able to pull that data in.
Right. So Talisha was kind of answering Galen's question, but it's a little bit more complicated than just an API. You want to explain that piece, Gina?
Yeah. So meaning that, well, APIs is an interface. So APIs mean it's an application protocol interface. So you'll be just kind of like banking. You mentioned banking. If you bank at Wells Fargo's and you go to Bank of America, right? So just think of us as the Bank of America. And we're actually pulling that data in from Wells Fargo's. And we're pulling also data from Chase Bank. So just kind of like using as a banking term. So we're pulling in that data and creating partnerships with those EHRs and those institutions and organizations that have access to this data, and being able to pull it in securely using HIPAA compliant services. And that's another thing too. Our services are going to be are HIPAA compliant as well as high tech. So we will have all the policies, all the regulations we will be able to meet. And we're working with companies and organizations that meet those policies as well to be able to pull that data in.
Yeah, so I just wanted to, so the term there was secure. And
yes.
So yes, it is an application program interface. And so what that is, for you all that aren't familiar with all these acronyms and terminology. So when you go online and you buy something online and then a payment box pops up and it says PayPal, that's an API. Okay. Or it wants to take you to PayPal, or it wants to take you to credit card, or Apple Pay, or Amazon Prime Pay, or Google Pay, whatever it is, those are APIs. All right. So you're interfacing. Now, those are encrypted APIs. Okay. So in other words, you shouldn't be able to see, although Gina, you know how these hackers do. I mean, tell me where I get off base, but those are encrypted. So you can't necessarily, so a one, just to put the number one, maybe 15 different characters just to say that's a one, but that's encryption. But in this case, when you're moving healthcare data, it's several layers above that in terms of security. So that is the thing that you need to understand, is that it's a secure environment. And again, I'm explaining it very simply. Your credit card goes across a one, may in the encryption, maybe 15 characters. Okay. But your date of birth, social security number in this high-tech, high HIPAA compliant environment maybe 15,000 characters just to say that's a one. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the level of security. So thank you, Talisha, for saying that. But I wanted to just make sure that, this is a little bit different than just a PayPal, Apple Pay, that you're online buying something. This has to be a few layers deeper than that in terms of that, quote, encryption or securing the transfer of the data.
Yes.
Got it.
So I want to give a shout out to Talisa. Talisa is our Chief Information Officer.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, hey. But
yes.
we haven't been on the call. I mean, Talisha.
Yes, she's awesome. She's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So but Talisha knows that. Then I'm sitting there talking to her like I'm telling her something.
Yeah, she brings us information. I'll
bring you a link and bring you into the conversation. But we got to get out of here.
She's a gem.
Yeah, but good. That was good for the audience, so to understand that this is, this is okay. But here's at the end of the day, this is all I always tell people about their health data. I don't want what you got. I'll tell you, I can care less. I don't want to know. There's nothing I want to know. Trust me, I've been healthcare for 30 plus years. There's nothing that you got that I want in terms of your health problems, because I know you got some. Okay.
Right.
And that stuff right there is some bad stuff that I don't want. That's just Dr. Cooper being funny. But anyway, it's real. I'm just telling you. But there are people out there who use that data, and for a much more, to hold people hostage, it's much more valuable to them. Okay, so that's why they want to tap in and be able to know this and know that about you. It's an important concept for people who want to do bad things. So we're gonna wrap up here. So correlatehealth.com, okay, CORRELATE health HEALTH.com, okay. You can go there now and sign up for the newsletter. Now I put my website up there, which is where we're going to be interacting, is this PRIMO Health Partners website to be, it's coming, okay? So be patient, you all. You all will be able to see Dr. Cooper. I'm going to be available now. I think we had this discussion yesterday. I think I'm Monday, Tuesday, Fridays, and Saturdays or something. But you'll be able to get medical advice, not for me. And if you got other physicians out there who want to get involved with this and want to be a part of this, you got to pay for it. It's not free. Okay. I'm just going to tell you straight up. Okay. This ain't free. All right. But here's the good news. These in a lot of cases are qualified healthcare expenses. So the vast majority of people who have a employer-based healthcare, and even if you don't, you have what they call an HSA, a health savings account, or a flexible spending account. So in most cases, these are qualified expenses. If you want to go and get a second, oftentimes your insurance won't pay for it, but your HSA will. That's a whole nother animal. I didn't want to get in it. Yeah, I know so many dirty little secrets about healthcare. I've been in the game so long. I think I got to be careful. Somebody may put a hit out. I know so many dirty little secrets about this business, but are they dirty? Not really, but it's just people make money. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm not free. Okay. So and all of y'all, so here's the deal. If you have my cell phone number and you're my friend already, trust me, Coop ain't gonna be charging $25. Okay, you could call me. As I always say, I'm not gonna answer any questions on Facebook, but we can always set up a phone call to have a conversation. Okay. So with that having been said, Correlate Health. Anything else, Dr. Malik?
Yeah, our crowdfunding. We are.
I forgot about that. Yes. Money.
If you would like to invest in our company, our crowdfunding is open now. If you go to our website, correlatehealth.com, scroll down to the bottom, you'll see the policy statements. You'll see invest in Correlate Health. Our crowdfunding is with NetCapital. We're going to be closing our first round. In December. And then we're going to be gearing it up for Reg S in the spring. But you get all the information about what we're doing, the price per share, our audit report, our SEC disclosure, all of that is on the website at NetCapital, and you'll find it right from our website. If you go to the homepage, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll see where you can invest in Correlate Health.
Yeah. So that, yeah, you're absolutely right. I wanted to mention that. Full disclosure, I'm an investor. Looks like I need to be writing y'all another check here soon. That's where ultimately down the road you can really, really, and we hope we yours in health. We don't want anybody to be sick, but we exist for a reason, and that's when you do get sick. You have me, you have Gina with her company, or our company, Correlate Health, being able to help you aggregate. You have me to give you a second opinions and my other healthcare professionals who work with me. So take advantage of these things. Take control of your life and start living life and stop reacting to life. Okay. Live life and stop reacting to life. So many of us just react. We bounce around like beetle bugs, Oh, it's raining outside. Oh Lord, have mercy. It's supposed to rain. Okay. It's okay. And they acquitted somebody. Yes, they acquitted something. Let's get out of that. You've still got to live your life. Okay. Okay. And I can't say that enough. And stop reacting to life. All right. It's going to be a whole lot better for you. I'm just telling you, I'm living it right now as God is my only witness. And I'm going to have y'all be a little witness here today too. That is absolutely 120% true. So, hey, thank you so much, Gina. Thank you, Talisha.
Yeah.
All the other people who from Correlate who chimed in, and all my partners and friends out there. Lady Phillips, you came back today. Tabitha, thank you so much. Dr. Matthew, thank you so much for your question. Tanya, hey, Tanya, how you doing? I didn't mention you earlier. I saw you. Good morning. Thank you so much. Sharonda, thank you always for the wonderful question. Ikra, my virtual assistant who's out there, thank you so much. I know it's early in the morning over there in Islamabad, but we certainly appreciate Dr. Hall. How you doing? Vanessa Hall. I don't know about patientory. I'm not familiar with that. Are you familiar with that? We missed that question.
Yes, Patientory is actually we're part of the Patientory Foundation. We are Krista is a very good friend of mine, and we're definitely working together in some initiatives. And she's helping us. We've done some tours together. We've been to Dubai and spoke on panels together. We were just at the HAMS conference together. So yeah, we're definitely in partnership with Patientory.
But you just let me know when y'all go to Dubai again. Is that a company experience?
Yes, and we've been twice.
What? All right, Gina. Hey, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much, and thank you to all of you who chimed in today, and all of those of you who will. I know we go back and I look at the views on this stuff is pretty impressive. People get the opportunity to go back and take a look at it a little bit later on. Heavy stuff, but good stuff, and we really appreciate that. Gina, you and I will come back first of the year, and we'll talk more in depth. PRIMOHealthPartners.com. The website is not up yet, just for those who may be looking, but they're out there searching right now for PRIMO Health Partners. It's not there yet. It is under construction, but I am leaning heavily on my web development team to get this thing up and running so that we can get the PRIMO Correlate partnership going and really make some magic for people and make a difference in people's lives, because that's what hanging with Dr. Cooper is all about. Thank you all so much. Happy Thanksgiving all. Love you.
Yeah.
Eat well, live well, eat well. Okay. Yours in health and wellness. Take care. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello, I'm Gina Malik, and I am the CEO of Correlate Health. We are a digital health company that was established in 2019. I have 18 years experience as a digital health professional. I have managed budgets combined of $280 million. I am a cryptocurrency investor and an NFT art and music collector. Our business model is NFT meets digital health. The 21st Century Cures Act signed into law requires healthcare organizations to give patients access to their healthcare data. With this, patients can download their health records via API protocols, contain them as NFT, and they can do all of this on our platform.